Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Good day to you all. Welcome. Guys, I think it's about time that we all realize, and everybody in the world is going to know pretty soon, we're not alone in this universe, and we've never been alone. For thousands of years, humanity has looked into the sky for answers, not realizing the sky is looking back at us. Ancient civilizations carved their contact into stones. Mystics received messages from the stars, and ordinary people across history felt the quiet pull of a memory they could not explain. Today, as you all know, that remembrance is accelerating. Governments around the world are finally acknowledging what so many have always known. There are intelligences here. We've visited since the beginning of Earth history. In fact, the evidence is now suggesting, even through mainstream science, that we receded from other planets and other systems. Watching, guiding, interacting with humanity, the era of secrecy is dissolving. Disclosure is no longer speculation, it's unfolding in real time. And soon, open contact will not be a question, it will be a chapter in human history. Imagine a world, everyone. Imagine this world where we have face to face contact with beings from across the galaxy. A world where our technologies, our sciences, and our spiritual understanding expand overnight. A world where we discover that the visitors we've been waiting for are our family. Because starseeds have been here all along. We are part of this greater cosmic lineage. Many of us carry memories, missions, frequencies seeded long before this lifetime. Humanity is not simply observing a galactic community, we are rejoining it. This moment is a turning point. What happens next will depend on us and our willingness to awaken and to listen and to remember who we truly are. So today, as we gather for these two panels, these starseed panels, we open the door a little more widely. We walk through this door to contact, to truth, to the vastness of our origins, and to the future we're stepping into together. So everybody, welcome to the portal to ascension. It's good to have you all here. Hello to you all. Hope you're doing beautifully. Go ahead and say hi in the chat. Let me know what you thought of my little intro. That was impromptu. 10 minutes ago, I figured let's do this. And excited for today, everyone. We're going to have two amazing panels. Yes, I did kind of plan this a while ago. However, we didn't really put together the people, the speakers, and everything in the way we have today until about a week ago. So on some level, this is really impromptu and really spontaneous, especially because there's some speakers today, presenters, that I just invited in the last couple of days. And today we're going to be infusing the timeline with the consciousness of the fact that we're not alone in the universe. The first panel, which you're now part of, is Messages from the Stars. That is the theme. And then the second panel, which will be at 1 p.m. Pacific, is called Understanding Our Role in the Galactic Community. You know, when I create these types of events, panels and events, I always find out later that it was just such an opportune moment. It was just the perfect timing for these types of gatherings to come about. You know, in the next month and a half, including in January, I have the Real Disclosure Conference. I have the Pleiadian and Arcturians Conference. We have the Dragons Conference. It's a super galactic 2 months, this month and next month, super galactic on Portal to Ascension. And it just so happened to coincide with the release of the Age of Disclosure, an upkick in the disclosure movement. And these panels were planned months ago, right in this precipice where the conversation is really out there. The fact that we're not alone in the universe. Not only have we been interacting with them for so long, but then governments have contracts, agreements, arrangements, reverse engineering craft. That's been obviously in the mainstream for a few years now, but we're taking it to another level. So today we're going to have beautiful conversation with some panelists, and your MC for today. Okay, drum roll, please. your MC and your host. And for this panel is Alan Steinfeld. For the next one, we're going to have Debbie Dashinger is going to be the one for 1 p.m. So let's go ahead and everybody, let's invite Alan on and go ahead and say hi in the chat if you haven't already and where you're hailing in from. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Neil. Thanks again for having me be part of one of your amazing events, because I was going to say it last night when we were on the show, but you are a adventurous entrepreneur in this field. You are taking on challenges and tasks, and you're really at the cutting edge. You're really trying to create the next wave of what consciousness is about as we interact with these galactic energies, and I'm always happy to be a part of it. So thanks everybody. You could spell my name this way, but I'll also give my YouTube channel if you want to see some other videos that me and you have collaborated on. There's so much we've done and are going to do this year, Neil. I'm very excited about the Real Disclosure event that we're doing in January. And of course, the New Living Expo, Glastonbury, our adventure.
I feel like this is the stillness before the storm. You know, we're
right.
Starting in February, we have so much going on, but 2026 to me is also kind of like a preparatory year for 2027. I feel we're building up momentum for that year.
Can you tell me what you have planned in 2027?
Okay. Well, I feel a lot of people, you know, a lot of intuitives, channelers, and then also like people like Bashar and even John Ramirez, the ex-CIA official, have all corroborated the dates of 2027 being a year where it could potentially be that the first step is everyone knowing we're not alone in the universe. That's the first step. Landing isn't the first step. The first step is us opening our consciousness to that realization, and someone maybe informing you, whether it's your government official or you finding the research, getting to that level now opens us up to the cosmic community.
Right.
I do really feel like I'm not a guy to predict dates at all, because people predict dates all the time, but I just feel the energy is picking up for that. What do you feel?
This is what Bashar is saying. He says 2020. He has a T-shirt actually. Have you seen the 2027?
Yeah, on that channel panel he was wearing on stage.
The year that changed everything. So this is a preparatory kind of period before we're really going into the big shift. I mean, people have been saying that for the last 20, 30 years, but I really think it's going to happen now. I really think the shift is happening. You know,
well, you know, John Ramirez said the CIA. I like the fact that it's not only in the esoteric world, but also in the mainstream world, and some government officials saying it. He said that basically the memo went out from these beings that have been interacting with Earth and governments, that if these shadowy parts of government don't get their crap together, they're going to make themselves known and just bypass all of it. So they have until 2027 to inform the masses of the secrecy in a way that, you know, they're doing it through a drip way. Do you feel that's kind of in alignment with why they're pushing all this information out?
Well, of course, they want to be prepared for what's happening, the government, because they know it's coming down. So the age of disclosure, all these kind of leeways into this unknown reality is being set in front of us, so they won't be thrown off guard. People will be a little prepared. There's people like leading the pack in the sense where presenting information like we're doing. So the planet's going to have to catch up to speed when this whole thing comes down.
Exactly. Yeah, we're in for a really interesting journey. Interesting, right? So we want to get to the panel very quickly here, but let's go ahead and talk about the New Living Expo. Okay. So
I want to congratulate Neil, for taking on something huge, like becoming the leading edge entrepreneur in the spiritual field. That's what I call you. That is what the portal has been about. And you're always taking chances, and you're always on the edge, and you're always putting your whole energy and self into these projects, which is why I like doing them with you, because you are all out and doing it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So I've announced it a few times, but I'm sure a lot of you tuning in haven't heard that, you know, I mean, I think almost everyone tuning in are from our email list, so you probably already know most of our story. But Portal to Ascension started in 2006. It became named Portal to Ascension in 2008, and then after a few years of just traveling and kind of nomading it in my car, doing sound healing events, meeting up with channelers, doing events, I feel like I learned a lot on how to become a really good event producer. And since then, we've just been taking off. 2012 was my first live conference, the Cosmic Reunion 2012. Bashar was the headliner for that one, and the evolution continued. And then this year, I purchased a legacy conference, one that has roots from 1982 at the Whole Life Expo in the Bay, and now Portal to Ascension is the new owner of the New Living Expo. And we are expecting around 3,000 people, hopefully more, in April 17th to 19th next year, with 125 exhibitors and over 100 speakers. And it's just something so incredibly exciting, everyone. I feel that it's the perfect timing for me to have taken this on, because I want to really move into the future. And I've noticed that, a lot of ways, some of these expos are still kind of have this the energy of the past paradigm in there. And there's so many things that are coming into the world now with technology, AI, the evolution of consciousness, disclosure. And so I really want to be like to pioneer that into the future with that. So love for all of you to join us there. And Alan has been a part of the New Living Expo since the beginning. He's really good friends with Ken. He's going to be an MC. And all the presenters today will be there. And all the presenters at 1 p.m. today will be there as well. So I want to show the trailer, but you have anything else to share?
Yeah, well, just the fact that you are bringing it back to the place where the spiritual movement in the U.S. began, which is the Northern California area, Esalen, San Francisco, Marin County. This is a kind of return and maybe kind of a full circle or a spiral. So the next wave of really what's going on, contact, is going to initiate a whole new level of what a spiritual awakening is about. So I'm glad you're doing this. You're opening the portal.
Thank you. So let's go ahead and play the trailer, and then Alan, we can start bringing on the panelists. All right, so here we go.
Definitely.
The world is changing faster than ever before, and within this evolution, a new consciousness is rising. At the New Living Expo, thousands gather to expand consciousness, explore new conscious technologies, ancient wisdom, and the future of human potential. Immerse yourself in 3 days of heart-expanding wisdom and mind-binding awareness, with over 90 speakers sharing tools to awaken your highest potential. 125 exhibitors, 3,000 attendees, awakened souls unite in one powerful weekend of learning, healing, and connection. Experience transformation, connection, and the next chapter of human evolution. It is time for humanity to awaken. Join us at newlivingexpo.com.
There we have it. It is time for humanity to awaken. Alan, you ready for this?
I am ready, Neil. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to lift off?
I'm ready. Let's bring everybody on.
Okay. All right. Great. Do you want to introduce some of them, and I'll introduce some of them?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we'll go one and one. So let me start with Joan of Angels, and Alan is also he's part of the production crew of New Living Expo, and so is Joan. Joan is an executive producer for New Living Expo. She is actually what I say is kind of, she's mirroring me. I'm her mini me, or she's me. We're each other's mini me's. Let's just say that. She's assisting me on every level with New Living Expo. Joan and I go back. She was at my first conference in 2012. She's been a really good friend. Her, myself, and Alan have traveled to Egypt together. She's Joan of Angels. She's tapped into the angelic realm. She does amazing presentations, really showing you how to cultivate the miracle in your life. And now she's moved into assisting a lot of people around 50 and older, women 50 and older, to be able to realize that they can reset and their lives, and also step into their true potential and power at any time in their life. Is that right, Joan?
Absolutely. That's what I love to do, everyone. Help you remember who you are. And that's why today's panel discussion is so important, I think, because we're talking about remembering and awakening too. So I'm really happy to be here, Neil. Love working with you. And guys, New Living Expo is going to be quite an adventure. It's soul family coming back together. And it's great when you recognize like your soul sister, your soul brother, and that was so thank you.
I guess we're so related, all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel it all the time when we get together.
Okay, it's up to me to pick a team member. No, I pick one of my favorite extraterrestrials herself, Vivianne Chauvalt, because she is the message from the stars. It's not, she has the message, but she is the message. She embodies the message. Her whole way of being, her whole approach to living and teaching and being an example for what's possible. I remember, Neil, we were at some meeting and some people started to have some kind of like a little disagreement. Vivianne walked out of the room and said she couldn't be around that energy just because the people weren't getting along. It was a great lesson for me. It's like, wow, this woman, this person, this being is living her truth and she acts on it. And, you know, it's like, things calm down after that. But Vivianne, I'm so happy you're here to join us today. And the messages you bring through are constantly being upgraded to new levels based on how humans are evolving. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say today. Thanks so much for being here, Vivianne.
Alan, always a joy. And thank you so much for calling me your favorite ET. I love that. And, you know, there's always, you and I have known each other for quite a number of years. And I remember our very, very first interview together. And it just was in Sedona, and the joy of being here. I, as an ambassador, this is what I'm here. I'm here to make contact with you. I'm here to establish that reconnection, that remembrance, the pathway. So Neil, always a joy to be with you, my friend, always to be in collaboration with Portal to Ascension. And of course, we couldn't do this without the angelic presence, Joan of angels. And I want to see everyone on the panel. I just love to be in your presence, you know, dear friend AJ and Tom. We got married after at their house, actually. So we have a very, very close heart bond energy, Arcturian Syrian connection. Of course, my star sister, Debbie Solaris. Always a joy to be with you, and the presence of both of you, Diana. Love the divine energy you emanate, and the joy of discovering you, Guru Matthew, John. Thank you for the synergy of the entire panel. It will be really much about making contact, opening the field of the heart's intelligence, and rediscovering the true science of what contact is about at that the conscious galactic opening. It is an invitation, and here we are. So thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Vivianne. And then I'll go ahead and introduce Deanna Devine. So happy to have you here, Deanna. And Deanna, I think we've known each other for a couple of years, but we've only just started working with each other. And Deanna and also AJ and Tom from Speaking from Source are actual Portal to Ascension sponsors. If you guys are on the email list, you've probably heard about our sponsorship platform. So they're coming on deeper levels to work with us. And this is kind of the beginning phase of us really doing this together, Deanna. So welcome. And Deanna is a soul guide, multidimensional channel, and galactic shaman. She's the author of Mastering Quantum Creation, Awakening the Phoenix Within, Manifesting Your Reality, and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. She's the creator of Quantum Ancient Codes Oracle Deck. Her work is devoted to activating sacred codes, restoring energetic sovereignty, and guiding others in remembering their soul divine purpose in service to planetary ascension. Thank you for being here, Deanna. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Neil, for inviting me. I apologize. My voice is a little raspy, and it's interesting. I think we're clearing a lot. I've been clearing in the last few days. I think we had this full moon in Gemini, so this is really our expression. And I think we are that, I would say, last phase of shedding of this year of the snake. And next year is the year to come on stages even more powerfully for me too. I'm so honored to be here, just like Vivianne said, in this most beautiful community of people I love. I feel like I know Alan forever. He's a fellow New Yorker, and Debbie Solaris, dear sister. I just went through her course, and we with Vivianne and Debbie and Alan and Neil, we were at the Galactic Cruise in December, going to the Mayan lands, doing some major activations. And so it's such a nice way to know that another cruise is coming up. I think you guys going to Greece and Turkey. I was in Turkey for summer solstice of this past year. There was a lot of ancient codes I was activating there in the underground cities, in the inner earth portals. There's a lot of realignment is happening on Earth right now. And all this work all of us are doing together is merging. I really feel that. So I'm super honored to be on this panel and having this full support of this beautiful galactic team together.
Thank you. Okay, it's back to me. I know John, I know Debbie. Well, I'm going to go with Debbie, and we'll save John for my next round, maybe. Okay, Matthew John, sorry. Dear Matthew John. Debbie Solaris. I've done lots of events with her. You're like a walking encyclopedia of extraterrestrial beings. I mean, you have to take notes when Debbie's speaking, because she just goes through these lists and the characteristics of these beings, and really is fine-tuning our understanding of what extraterrestrial existence is all about. I'm not sure how you get that information. I know a lot of research. I know a lot of inner work, a lot of connections with your own experiences to the stars, and it's just fantastic to listen to you and what you're bringing in, and I'm excited about what you're going to share today. So how are you, Debbie?
I'm doing good. We're getting some warmer days in Colorado, so it's nice to see some clear skies for a change. But yeah, I've known Alan for a few years now. We were together at New Life Expo, not New Living, but New Life Expo, based out of New York. And then we've been involved with a few projects since then. I have to say, I don't know Guru Matthew John or Speaking from Source yet, but I have worked with everybody else on this panel, and what an amazing crew. I mean, this New Living Expo that we're going to be moving towards in April, it's just going to be just a mind-blowing experience, and I'm just real happy to be a part of it and joining with all of you.
Thanks, Debbie, for being here. As always, I'm very excited to hear your latest download. So
yeah,
we'll get there. Yep. Got there.
All right, and then next up we have Speaking from Source, Thomas and AJ, Intuitive Channels, and as I shared, they also came in as sponsors. Actually, they came as the first sponsors, so they have a special place in my heart. 8 months ago, when I sent the email out, the first ones that jumped on board, and we've had such a good friendship and relationship ever since. Done a lot together, including just that random impromptu event we did like this for channeling. It was really fun. I'm sure some of you probably attended it. So Thomas and AJ are Intuitive Channels co-founders of Speaking from Source. AJ, an Arcturian starseed born in Melbourne, Australia, has a profound connection to the extraterrestrial realm in ancient Egypt. And Thomas, who holds a PhD in communications, discovered his spiritual gifts while working with a mentor in Washington, D.C. A lifelong learner, he is currently completing a doctorate that might have finished by now. I don't know if that's still going on. And further expanding his knowledge of the mind, spirit, and higher consciousness. But beyond that, I'm not sure if we're going to get into you guys channeling today because of the panel discussion. However, okay, we will. They are a joint channel, and where they are both channeling the same frequency, the same beings at the same time. And so when it comes to channeling and listening to people, and then also having that healthy skeptic that I sometimes have within me, I gotta say, when I hear them communicating and basically literally finishing the other person's sentence and being on the same frequency at the same time is quite a profound experience to witness. So really happy to have you get here, guys.
We're so glad to be here. Thank you, and glad to be with all of you.
Yes, we're so very thrilled, and the guides have us together to be a living example of the new consciousness, the shared consciousness that is coming to humanity right now. And each and every one of you are all sentinels leading the way in your own way. And it's so delightful to see this come together, as it were.
It's interesting how each of us bring on our gifts and our transmissions a little bit differently. And I think that's important to recognize, because the guides have told us that each one of us brings something unique as messengers. And so we're delighted to do it the way they've taught us to do it, which is simply that Tom and AJ are less important than the guides themselves and their messages. And it's so delightful to succumb, if you will, to those messages and to receive those messages telepathically, really together. It's really delightful. So
Yes.
we are thrilled to be here with all of you. We have such admiration and respect for you all, and delighted to be in the circle with you.
Delighted to have you guys here too. Really appreciate you and just everything that you bring. So thank you.
Okay. Guru Matthew John. I knew him before he was a guru. I knew him as Matthew John was already a spiritually awakened being. And I'm excited to hear about your transformation, because I haven't seen you in this level of the incarnation, but you were tapped in. I think we did a show about the lunar eclipse together and the energies that are coming from the eclipse. And you've kind of touched on a lot of the evolving spiritual concepts that the community is just coming into, and you're an educator and an experiencer and a bridge between these worlds. So I'm really happy you're here, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about your transformation. Maybe we'll get into that, but you have anything to share, Matthew, John?
Yeah, well, thank you, Alan. I really appreciate the introduction, as always. I just find it such a charming nugget of warmth from the universe when I get to have you introduce me. So I really appreciate it. Neil, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited about what you're doing with Portal Ascension, bringing it more, not that it hasn't been in the 3D world, but really bringing it into the third dimensional world, that funnel from the upper energies down into the physical world by, purchasing a giant physical expo. And Alan, I love what you said about it being this full circle, everything being a spiral in reality. Absolutely, the conscious movement began in San Francisco, Dolores Park, right? It's where my parents were hanging out with all the other hippies, and that's where everything kind of began. And then down as a wave to Southern California, and then finally out east, right? So it's wonderful that we, as all of us on this panel are, leaders in the spiritual community, and so many people that are watching and commenting are as well. And to be able to bring that together in a physical space is really such a blessing. So, Neil, I'm so excited that you did that, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, definitely, brother.
That's a good point.
And okay, yes, I went through a bit of a transfer. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah. No, but I just want to say,
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
I'm just saying the 60s, the hippie movement was the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and now we're past the dawning. We're actually in the day, the year, the epoch of this Aquarian age, and everything that we'll be talking about here is about the upgrade in human consciousness that the Aquarian traits are helping to facilitate for humanity. That's what I have to say. Okay, Neil, what about you?
Yeah, and Alan, you and I are both.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Matt. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. There's a little bit of a delay, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm wondering, is it on my end or is it you guys? I don't. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Or no? Or
so
no,
go for it.
I can sign in and sign out again if it might help.
All right.
Okay.
I guess he's going through an upgrade himself. Okay, but all right, Neil, were you going to say something?
Well, yeah, Guru, if you can hear me, Guru Matthew John, go ahead and go ahead and leave and come back. I'm going to remove you from this right now. No, I was just going to comment on, just say that it was nice to see him again, because it's been a while since I saw him. But let's go ahead and begin the panel, Alan.
All right, great. And okay, he's coming back in, so this way. But the idea about messages, right? Okay, good. Thanks for coming back. Mr. Guru. The idea of messages from star seeds from the stars is that these messages evolve over time. So what would have been said to us maybe 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, I think those people at the leading edge of this movement have integrated. So the idea behind these messages are to up level us to the next phase of our evolution. So so it's exciting to be in the midst of this evolutionary moment as the bigger downloads come in, and we are moved to integrate that to form what Joe Dispenza says, new neural nets of cognition to see the bigger realities. So that's why I'm going to start with Vivianne Chauvalt and ask her, Vivianne, I know we've known each other since Sedona, maybe that was the 30 years or something. And you've really come into your own. You've led trips. You have a movie about you. You're introducing the Arcturians on a whole other level of consciousness, but you yourself are being upgraded. So what new information does humanity have to know and integrate today that will take all of us to the next level?
It's a great question, Alan, and as always, I love your energy and how you bring questions. So it's nothing about what is new. It's about how we are rediscovering the potential that is already embedded in ourselves. So 2026, it's going to be truly a great threshold for spiritual integration and evolution. So this is just the beginning. It's going to be a cascading effect coming in through 2026. 2027 is going to be a bridge, and then moving in 2028 and even all the way to 2029. Now, with that being said, you have to understand that those are just markers in time, because we have to release ourselves from the confinement and the limitation of linear thinking. So as a sentient beings that we all are, and Earth human beings are no exception, it's about reclaiming your true identity as a holographic, multidimensional, eternal being having an Earth human experience. And as we move into that directions, there are so many sentient group, or if you want to call them in star nations or intergalactic groups consciousness, who are really ready to reinterweave the unified field. And that unified field is going to be your platform of true communications. So the neural pathways is just an aspect of the upgrade of the human template. There's an evolution on that level. There's an evolution also through the eternal energetic pathway of the body, moving out of a carbon-based third-dimensional earth human energy into a celestial, more angelic human template. And this is going to be a transitioning out of the third-dimensional matrix reality, meaning more identity to personality self, and moving into a higher soul matrix identity, where you start to really embracing the multifacets of your beings. In this way, again, that unified field that we are moving into, it's what really carry us through. It's what really unify all of us. And without being a cliche, but the movement into the awakening of the heart's intelligence, it's going to open that gateway for all of us and all of you on the planet. And remember, I am a bridge. I'm a direct point of liaison on behalf of many, many intergalactic groups, including the Federation, the Galactic Federation of Alliances, and other aspects of the Council. And we can see that there is a palpable change, palpable shift of willingness to expand in your conscious field. And so all this energy, we receive that and we are responding to you. So it's think of it this way: we're reharmonizing the transmitter and the receiving way, whether it's from Sirius, whether it's from Vega, whether it's from Alpha Centauri, whether it's from even an interstellar or interdimensional being. You are moving more into this conscious, unbonded, universal field, and this is where we are shifting in that direction. That threshold of 2026, again, as a marker, it's the momentum for your entire species to take this quantum leap of moving and releasing yourself from old identity and depleted timeline. And those depleted timeline includes the middle one we're in right now, that you've been in for generations, and releasing yourself from the hooks of redirecting your power and your authority elsewhere, whether it's technology, whether it's information, whether it's having the ET landing on the lawn of Washington, D.C. We have to release yourself from these cliches. And it's about higher intelligence, reconnecting with another, and we are ready for you. The question is, are you ready for us?
Well, that is why we're doing this, to get ready for us, for you, for them, for all of us. But I do like what you say about years being markers. Of course, those are arbitrary human, like things we put on time frames. And it's not like, oh, suddenly we're in a new dimension in 2026. I mean, we can be if we mentally cognize that, but really it's an evolution that is washing over us in a sense. I mean, what do you say, you guys, speaking from source? What does source say? Where are we going?
Well, fascinating. And I love following Vivianne, because I feel like what the guides have been telling us very clearly is very practical. So in other words, if we're going to join this galactic community, then it's essential for us to recognize what we share. And we share source. We share the love of source. We are adored. All of the star beings are adored. And so the question becomes, what separates us now from that community? And the answer is separation itself. It's our focus on difference.
Absolutely. And so, what the guides are saying through us as well is, don't wait for the mass disclosure and the lights in the sky. Establish your connection now. Open up to what is available to you now, because the extraterrestrial beings and the guides, and myself as an Arcturian twin soul, Thomas as a Syrian star being, you have resources and people and abilities to expand upon right now.
But what we love about the guides is how practical they are. So they like to say, the test is not all of this conversation. It's how you are when you're on the highway, and how you feel when someone cuts you off, and how you respond to other human beings. Because before we're able to make those connections with other civilizations, we've got to figure out how to work with other humans right now. And so those very small ways that we separate with other humans now are all critical tests for us. They're ways for us to sort of see why we need the time that we need to get ready. And we can address that daily. Our consciousness as it grows is a very practical consciousness about, how did I today unify with my fellow human? And how did I allow separation, distinction, difference, hatred, if you will, to keep us apart?
Yes, this is absolutely about embodying those ideologies and those frequencies which are there for you, which will enable you to have those relationships with your guides and the extraterrestrials.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. I think this is the point that Diana makes in her new book. I did a blurb for, is this human difference. Diana, talk about that bridge between human, ET, star beings, and what we have to do.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me after, because I do believe in the same topic, that we are here to embody these frequencies. And in order to embody this frequency, I totally agree with the guys, like, you have to embody them on a daily basis. That means developing practices that will help you to stay in a coherent state, because the outworld is really busy right now. There's so many changes, and we can't seek validation from outside. So really the work starts internally. And so how do you anchor yourself on a daily basis? How do you ground yourself? Are you out in nature? What are those practices? And if you don't have any in the morning, start some. I mean, they can be as simple as gazing at the sun. There's so many codes coming in right now. I mean, we are up here with Alan in New York, so our sun is not as bright, but you can still find those sun hours. There's so much solar activity, cosmic activity happening. And the best way to connect to it is also to be that divine instrument. So I help people to activate the Kundalini energy field and also the light language, the source language, as I also call it. And this is our time to learn how to, vocalize it. So allow these codes to digest in and maybe make a hum, a song, like find your own soul signature and how it wants to express itself. And that can be also a wonderful activity. You can even take a shower in the morning and just start toning. And as we tune, we are quantum, as Vivianne beautifully said. And so how do we connect to the quantum field of information? How we become the frequency? And the tone gate is all within us. So creation is all created through sound. So become that sound, a sound of creation, and just infuse that in everything that you do. So I feel it for 2026, from what I've been looking at, and really next 5 years or so, the really next cycle of 9 years is all about radical authenticity. We're no longer in the place of hiding and not showing ourselves. And I'm seeing that happening in this year, where people losing their jobs, people losing friends. There's a lot of unpeeling happening, I would say. And it's happening for a reason, because as Vivianne said, we are shifting from these old programs that we used to run to be in this place right now in December, in place of rest. When we're in stillness and we rest in, we no longer have our 3D jobs. This is our time to really start looking at our reality and figuring out how the next year of 2026, which is the blazing fire horse, I call it the magical unicorn, it's going to just take us off into this momentum and acceleration of what's coming. And I also agree that we shouldn't necessarily just wait for the open contact. I think open contact really starts with us. And so we're not surprised when they show up on a doorstep. It's just like, okay, they're here now. And we all have access to it. And I think it's time for us to really trust our gifts and trust our access. Know that you all, it's not something you're born with. It's something you just reconnect to. Back to that point about separation versus unification. So I invite you all to step into your embodiment, step into your radical authenticity, and be the voice that you're meant to be in this reality right now.
I love that being behind. Who is that creature, that star being? Who is that one over your, I guess, right? That's
a Lyran. It's a Lyran avatar, and very similar to one of my forms from Lyra, as I remember myself. She's very tall. She's about 9-10 foot, very graceful, and probably similar to how James Cameron depicts in the movie Avatar, where they were more blue skins. Lyrans that's the vegans. Debbie can tell you more about them, and these are one of the hybrids of the Lyrans.
Who made that drawing for you? Where'd you get that?
A beautiful being. Her name is Jessica at Light Being Codes. And when I was in the ceremony and I went into that form I was in the Lyran planet, and literally right as I came out of it, I saw this painting on Instagram, and then I reached out to Jessica. She actually rewrote the light language for it based on my signature, and it's been with me pretty much since 2020.
Great. Wow. Thanks, Diana. Okay, Guru Matthew. Because you didn't have much, got cut off before. I'm curious about, your journey, the messages that came to you that shifted your whole spiritual mindset and became a bridge to these other dimensions. What happened? How'd that happen? How can we do it? Go ahead, tell us. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, speaking briefly on the personal transformation, the universe kind of pushed me over a cliff about a year ago. and I had to just completely step away from everything, and just allow some time for my body to reset, to integrate this new aspect that had come in. And I just had to step away and allow the transformation to happen. It's been a year of quite literally being in a cocoon, and just really recently actually starting to spread the wings and really feel around in the world as this new form, and it's quite magical. I've had a connection with extraterrestrials for a very long time, as you know, and especially with the Syrians. I have an intimate connection. I channel often a group of 5 Syrian extraterrestrials. I have had just wonderful, like, hours long, journeys to Sirius, and for myself and also for clients as well. And I want to offer a piece of a nugget of wisdom from the Syrians that actually came to me last year at a retreat I was running up here in upstate New York. And they had said that for the first time in this cycle of our planet's history, right, from the end of Atlantis on to now, that there's actually a human representative of planet Earth in the greater galactic council. Now, the logistics of that, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, it involves some sort of travel with technology that isn't openly disclosed to our planet right now. Some sort of, traveling through wormholes, or teleportation technology, or just, being taken on a craft, that has that type of technology to go wherever this galactic council physically lies. And even to say it's physical is somewhat, I think, precarious, because the vibrational frequency that these, galactic leaders from other planets and star systems are at is much higher than obviously where we're at in general right now. But I found that to be a very exciting piece of information that they shared, that there is a human representative. Everything now are those little baby steps, right? Another baby step was this 3-eye atlas, which I wanted to bring up today. I watched a little bit. Neil, you had Avi Loeb on, and I think Alan, you were on that one as well. And of course, he, what he brought to the table went very mainstream. Every news outlet, on planet Earth mentioned that. Not every, but a lot mentioned that Avi Loeb, had said that this is a spacecraft, and some of the characteristics that we've never really seen before. And what I received was that this is a spacecraft. What I was told was that it actually comes from the Andromeda Galaxy, which is our big sister galaxy. The Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy are tethered together energetically. The Andromeda Galaxy is the next step up vibrationally from the Milky Way galaxy. They're twin sister galaxies. They're actually, and even science knows, NASA knows, that they're very slowly merging. It's going to take billions and billions of years. And then the next step up vibrationally for the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy will be this merged super galaxy, right? So essentially, this craft that appears, it's still there as a comet, travels through the Milky Way to all sorts of star systems in our perception of time, could be 90,000 years, right, or more, traveling through all these different star systems where there's a planet designated for ascension. Obviously, Earth is one of those planets designated for ascension. My understanding is that throughout the Milky Way, in general, you have 4 planets where there is sentient life, 3D or above life in every star system. And out of those 4, there will be 1 generally at a time that is going through an active ascension process, which is where we are right now. And I believe there probably are exceptions here and there to that. But basically, this is like a reconnaissance craft that travels from star system to star system, just checking in. And, I think that's the vibe that a lot of us in the spiritual community got, even without the specifics of what I was told, is that, it's kind of checking in on us, right? But my understanding is that it appears to us as we are able to perceive it based on the macro level of consciousness of the planet. So where we're at on planet Earth right now, we've gone from 20, 30 years ago if you believed in aliens, you were a weirdo, right? You were a tinfoil hat wearing weirdo. To now where thanks to really you guys, especially Alan and Neil, like it's becoming so mainstream that if you don't believe in aliens, you're weird, right? What a flip that has been culturally, right? At least in the West and definitely in a lot of parts of the world, right? So that's a sign. But based on where we're at with that, it appears like a comet with a question mark. It's a comet, but is it, right? Now, if we were at a higher macro level of ascension on this planet, it would just appear as a ship. But we're not there yet, right? So it's another little baby step nugget towards that true first contact, whatever. I mean, in my opinion, we can say we've already had first contact 1,000 times in the past 50 years, right? Look at the Phoenix Lights, back in 2002 or whatever. I mean, that was massive, right? But what that true, like Hollywood, the ET crafts landing on the White House lawn, I do believe that will be a thing. And I think a lot of us do. I will say, based on what I've received, I don't know if it's 2027. I've always been shown early 2030s, but I don't know. Things shift so rapidly too. We're always oscillating between these macro planetary timelines, and it really does highlight the free will factor we have, not just as individuals, but as a collective.
Right.
Like every little chess piece, this war and this problem on the planet, they're not necessarily set in stone. They will shift based on, at any given moment, the level of consciousness on the planet. That's why there's always opportunity. So when we come together in a setting like the New Earth, the New Living Expo in April, and really gather this wonderful high vibrational frequency field by being there together, Neil, I don't know if you're going to do a mass meditation there. I would love to see something like that. But we have this opportunity to create the higher vibrational fields. And as we do, we shift world events. And as we do, we shift the possibility, the timelines of when and what that true first contact will look like. So it's always shifting. And I don't know. I don't want to say for sure it won't be 2027. Maybe we'll catch up and it will be. But I think we're on a great track right now.
Yeah, we just put out these possibilities and information and prepare people by this kind of conversation. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. When I get to Neil, when are we finished with this session here?
Well, since we kind of had a little conversation in the beginning, we can go a little over. So, we'll just see when we feel like we're complete. Let me just, before we bring Debbie on, let me just say, so I think 2030 is a good date too for maybe like more like interactions or even landings or something like that. I think the first step is for us to just know that we're not alone, and that's going to be happening on exponential level. Maybe not the whole planet, because there's like small villages in India, for example, without TVs. You know what I mean? Like, but 2030 sounds right in regards to the fact that there's also conflicting agendas in regards to the World Economic Forum and different types of things that they want to implement on us by 2030. And it's like a fork in the road between a disharmonic future that they have outlined on paper in documentation for 2030 for the world, or this like organic timeline that we're creating. So that window sounds right to me too. But again, you can't ever come up with the date. It's up to us, really.
Yeah,
right?
we've always had that, like that. Yeah, and we've always had that fork in the road, right? That, is it going to be the darker timeline that the occult, forces would like to lead us down the planet, or is it going to be that, that ascended timeline? But the cool part is there's not one single ascended timeline. There's many. There's many of these. I'm calling them macro timelines, that world events will unfold differently and in different years. So that's what's really exciting, is that we do have the power to shift what is coming, not just in our own future, but as a planet. And Neil, I'm curious, when you say everyone will know, like what type of event might that be to you?
Well, wait, let's get to that. Let's go around for one more time with that question. That's really good. Let me get to Debbie, because I do want to get to what type of event that might be and how the messages we're hearing today could prepare us. But Debbie, what are you getting at this next age folds and the higher consciousness starts to awaken? How are you bringing that into the field?
Thank you for asking that. You know what? I'm seeing a lot of the sense of urgency amongst the overall collective. I think there's a lot of unrest on the planet right now because there is this separation of the 3D from the 4D and 5D realms. And I do agree with Matthew John about there's all these shifting timelines, and these timelines are actually not only expanding, but they're also collapsing onto each other. So I do agree with you, Matthew John, that we are seeing massive opportunities for different timelines to play out. And I think that's something that people weren't aware of even 5 or 10 years ago. I think everybody was talking about 5 or 10 years ago that there was going to be this massive, great event, and we're all going to experience that together. But it isn't going to be a massive. It's going to be a series of smaller events that are going to lead us to where we need to be. The urgency that I'm seeing, particularly with the people I'm working with that are my clients or my students, is that a lot of them are feeling the need to clear out a lot of karma and trauma. So there's a lot of, still in the collective, a lot of trauma signatures from the Lyran Wars or the Orion conflicts, or even there's a lot of conflicts, even the Maldek destruction, so Maldek was this planet between Jupiter and Mars that's now the asteroid belt because it went through this massive destruction. So we're still in the process of doing massive amounts of clearing. I would say individually and collectively is what I'm seeing basically throughout the last few years. More and more of my clients are booking Akashic clearings because they're getting this sense of urgency that they need to prepare for the 5D. We cannot enter the 5D unless we are really infused. And I think Vivianne was referring to this earlier, that unless we're really infused with that love consciousness, and that we have actually energetically and physically activated our dormant strands of DNAs. So humanity was always supposed to have at least 12-strand DNA. We've been downgraded to 2. We're moving back to 12. So when we get to those 12 strands of DNA, that's when we're going to really be prepared for the 5D. The other thing too is the whole idea of being in love consciousness is being able to once again become a telepathic community, a telepathic collective. We are not there yet because a lot of us haven't embraced self-love. We haven't embraced forgiveness and moving past, these trauma signatures of shame, betrayal, loss, sorrow, grieving, so these are all energies that we are massively processing through at this time in order to further prepare us for contact with our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters. The timeline I got as far as that with the big contact experience, I actually got 2028, between 2028 and 2032. So 2030 does sound right. I think that's when we're going to start having physical, where everybody knows about it, contact with extraterrestrial beings. Personally, I believe that we're not going to have contact with Pleiadians or Sirians just yet, that the beings that we're going to be in contact first will most likely be Venusians or Alpha Centaurians, because those are the civilizations or the off-world civilizations that are located closest to Earth. And that are most like us. So I feel like we almost have to go through these baby steps, even with contact with these beings. But we are living in massive, massive change right now. But we also have to do our own work. So it's not like we just get to coast along and, just have a good old time. We have to do our own work. A lot of us are shedding the matrix, the connection to the 3D. We're shedding ancestral contracts right now. A lot of us were born into Earth families in order to assist Earth families in shedding ancestral karma. And we've done massive work. I think that's why a lot of us had very challenging experiences in childhood, particularly, I would say, first wave volunteers, but even second and third wave are also going through their own challenges. So that's pretty much the messages I've been getting lately. And I hope that that rounds things out here and prepares for the next question.
No, thank you, Debbie. And I think my opinion is that it's happening. It's like boiling water. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a little thing that bubbles here and then it bubbles here. So contact is being made that way with individuals. And at some point, the whole pot's going to boil over, but we're not there yet. But these little awakenings and movements and for us here, this is content. We have made content. This is the future here. And it's going to take a while for the planet to catch up, but maybe there'll be a really rude awakening that happens. And that's always exciting to get woken up in the middle of the night from the sleep. And then boom, you're in a whole other reality. So that's what me and Joan have been talking about for the last couple of years, right, Joan? We've worked through our human karma. And now what's our galactic mission here? Joan, thanks for being here. Okay, you're unmuted and go for it. You were unmuted. Can you unmute her, Neil?
Let me try.
I don't want to miss a word.
I can't.
Either. All right, guys. I don't know about you, but I know disclosure has been happening for years. And thank you for that, Alan. And everyone has contributed so much to this. But disclosure has been going on for a long time. We can look back at paintings from the Renaissance period and see ships in the sky. So they've been seeing extraterrestrials forever. But the problem is about everything really for us is that they try to wipe out our memory or deny our memories or deny the very things we see because the emperor has no clothes on. So when we talk about disclosure, we have to really look at the fact that the government has been keeping us from disclosure. Because why? Because that's what they're doing. They're trying to separate us from our consciousness. They're trying to separate us from our ascension. They are trying to stop the wave of ascension that is happening here on the planet, which is supposed to merge into this timeline around 2030, which is interesting why everyone here is sort of mentioning 2030 as a date. But knowing that it's our memory, understand that ever since like 2020, the slate is opening up and more people are actually like diving into history and looking at the timelines of the earth and going, oh my God, there's a whole history we do not know about and we are waking up. So what is really disclosure? Well, disclosure internally is really us raising our vibration enough, because who's chosen are people who are really starting to wake up or have ancestral lineage that needs to be awoken. So in 2013, in a plant medicine ceremony, I think it was my first or second plant medicine ceremony, I saw writing on the forehead of 5 different people. Now, I was kind of freaked out because that had never happened to me, and it was light language across their forehead. And when I got home, one of my housemates at the time, Scott, actually was a remote viewer. And I said, Scott, can you translate this? So he actually meticulously recreated it so I could see it, and then he translated it. And what was it? It was a call for a gathering of the star beings with humanity so that this disclosure can be planned together. Now, disclosure also is an internal thing. So when you raise your frequency, it's the same thing with connecting with the angelic realms. The more you raise your frequency, sending that antenna up to the sky here and getting into the other dimensions, the more contact you have with angels or star beings, or the more you get flooded with your memory returning. So our inner disclosure is all about our memory returning of the lifetimes we've had off planet as maybe extraterrestrial or celestial beings. I kind of, many of you out there are both. You have that celestial imprint and you have that star being imprint. So how do we deal with the fact that the government stands in the way of many people returning their memories? And that is what we're doing here today. Every time we have a panel like this or a discussion, it changes the field. It literally changes the timeline. I love that. Amazing. We are putting into the consciousness, and I know each of you have had contact of your own. That's why we're on this panel. And when we raise our vibration collectively, who knows, maybe many of you guys in the audience tonight go out and really raise that vibration and say, I'm really ready to talk to you. Let's go. Now, the other thing we have to be aware of is this false flag. I was listening to Brad Olson the other day. Boy, he's really passionate about this false flag that may be happening. So many people are going to think, and what kind of ETs are going to come down? Not the ones we know. It's the ones that are going to scare the living bejesus out of those humans who dared to question. So I want you all to know that it is still going to be, even if you see ETs on the White House lawn next month, know that it could actually be a distortion, and go back inside and feel it out for yourself. What is here? What are they trying to tell you? All right. So I think that's what I want to say.
Beautiful. Thanks, Joan. I'm not sure I buy the false flag, because false flag's been happening all the time. So, we'll see. I think that's why it has to come to the people. It's a people's movement. This is why I support Danny Sheehan's work and the New Paradigm Institute and Steve Bassett. It's up to us. We cannot wait for anybody to show up on the White House lawn, including whoever's in the White House. But we need to do it ourselves.
Right.
We are the disclosure. I think this is what we're saying.
Brilliant.
About you.
No, you're right. Now, I was privileged to be on several UFO investigations where I saw evidence of concrete, so there's disclosure that's concrete, like I got to see a physical ship, or I have to know it from inside. And I actually saw physical evidence of landing sites and that history. So there is so much going on. All right.
Yes, it's a complex. It's not one answer. Neil, do you have the answer
for everyone else?
You're the one.
Do I have the answer?
Yeah, please.
So
I'll open the board.
Okay, so this is what, in regards to the panel, I feel like I'm going to share something right now, and then we'll go do a rapid fire round, give everybody 2 minutes to just download messages from the stars or whatever you want to share. So first of all, on the whole thing of disclosure starts from inside, I like to take it to the scientific level, that everything is paradoxical. Why is it that you meditate and go into the subatomic particles within yourself to connect? Because the vacuum of space and the way we can traverse space-time is through the wormhole, through the subatomic particles. We're made out of infinite singularities. So by tapping into our own singularity, we're able to contact. So it's quite a scientific, literal phenomena that the way to connect with ET consciousness is by going into that. Now, what do I feel Earth is, right? I feel that, I think AJ and Tom shared that we need to learn how to work with other humans. And that's a huge component, is us really realizing that there's a lot of people on Earth that have issues with other people on Earth, rather than us projecting that into, just like how we projected that consciousness onto our gods in the ancient Bible, Yahweh, Zeus, and all that, projecting that onto other beings, thinking that what we do to each other is going to be done to us. I feel Earth is the microcosm of the macrocosm. That an analogy I came up with that I think is kind of funny and cool is that you know those old movies like the Trojan War and like ancient wars. There would be two armies, like a Phoenician army and another army, and they're about to battle each other. And then right in the battle, before the battle, the two heads of the armies get together and they say, you pick your best person and you pick your best person, and they duel it out. And if whoever wins will save all these lives, and then we can just all go home and you will win. And I feel on some level that's like what Earth is, that we are here, and you might not call it a battle, you might call it just this experience, but we're here with the projection and the imprint of our entire galactic community and our history. Ever since the inception of humanity, ever since the Lyran Wars, genetic manipulation, there's been so much division within our galaxy. There's been so much, for lack of a better term, speciesism, aka type of racism, where there was a lot of disconnects. And then all of a sudden, the Earth experience happens. And over generations and generations and millennia, all these beings started donating DNA to the human experience. And these beings that were genetically separate for so long are now, guess what? All within us. We are now beings that were like separate within the cosmos have a mutual ancestor through us. So we're a hybrid of all these genetics. And through that, through the etheric genetics, and I have a presentation on Orion where I talk about the non-physical DNA. Through our DNA, when we do this healing work, when we learn to live in peace with each other, when we release these traumas, we then connect with the DNA that doesn't exist in the light spectrum that we can perceive with our eyes, which connects to the other realms. And I feel that us working out how to live in peace with each other then permeates a frequency throughout the cosmos that also sends that signal out of universal peace. It's almost like, you know, how in Star Trek they say the final frontier. I think it's the other way around. Earth is the final frontier for the galaxy. That's why we're the biggest light show in the universe. That's why so many beings have an invested interest in us doing well and not destroying ourselves. Guru Matthew John had mentioned before that it used to be weird that when somebody would believe in ETs, and that was the other way around. I connect that into the cycles of time, because the age of the Kali Yuga, the Dark Ages, was literally has a few themes: hierarchy, authority, and delusion, right? And we've existed in delusion. What does delusion mean? What's right is wrong, what's wrong is right. And when he said, now it's weird to not believe in ETs, I'm like, the delusion is being corrected. Right? We're now starting to, like, everything is shifting to, oh yeah, of course there's so much more out there in the cosmos. With the, you know, the question Guru Matthew John asked me as well, like, again, I don't feel there's going to be landings in 2027. Who knows, right? But what needs to happen before, like, all of a sudden someone's just like walking in the field, has no idea we're alone in the universe, and 2030 comes and there's a landing, is people getting to that level of being aware that we're not alone. And a good example to answer your question, Guru Matthew John, would be something like the show Love is Blind. You guys seen that show, Love is Blind, or you heard of it? Okay, so in the show Love is Blind, right? It's like this dating show where two people are in different containers and they don't see each other, and they're talking and they're trying to see if they can, like, they're flirting with each other, seeing if they like each other or not, and then they start dating before they even see each other. Okay? So in this show, there's this girl, right? And she's talking to the guy, and they're speaking about, you know, what they're interested in. And then she goes, "Did you hear about the UFOs?" And then he goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Did you know that the government has been hiding for 80 years the UFOs, and they've been reverse engineering craft, and all types of governments, including Russia and China, have these UFOs?" And then he's like, "Oh my God, I love you, you're so smart," you know, just like regular stuff. But I was like mind blown, because my sister and brother-in-law were watching it, and I just came in the room and sat for 5 minutes and saw that. So I'm giving you like a funny example, but these little pieces of awareness being dripped into all parts of the world are just opening people up more and more to that reality, and then starting to research it. The amount of people 5, 6, 7 years ago, before COVID, had no idea, never even thought about it, but the amount of people that are thinking about it now. And as we know, thoughts creates reality. That this is kind of a simulated reality, and our brains are the processors of the consciousness, and our eyes are the projectors, and the world is the screen. So if we're thinking these thoughts, if we're realizing these thoughts, our eyes are projecting that reality. And so what is happening is slowly but surely we're getting to the point, whether it's 2027, 2028, we're on the precipice of it. More and more people are waking up. I shared the other day, everything they do backfires and more people wake up to it. And there's one last component here. There's no mistake that AI and quantum computing are all happening at the same time as this UFO disclosure movement. We get all types of signals from space. We have millions of signals that have been registered by space programs around the world. But a regular computer would take thousands of years of processing if those signals could be extraterrestrial. They've already put AI and quantum computing on these signals and have already identified hundreds of thousand anomalies of different types of signals and frequencies coming to Earth, and now even putting types of technology to decode this, right? And then quantum computing. Guys, like if you ask a quantum computing scientist, a regular mainstream person that could be atheist, what does the quantum computing mean? Most of them all say, well, now quantum computing has proved that we exist in a multiverse because it's able to process one single thing through all infinite universes at the exact same moment to give you an answer in 1 millisecond that would have taken millions of years to have done, right? Quantum computing, AI, UFO disclosure, that's what I'm saying. Like in the next 4 to 5 years, oh my God, like the world as we know it is going to change, whether it's the esoteric world that we're in or whether it's the mainstream stuff that's coming out, the quantum computing, the AI, the UFOs. So I'm excited for all of this and what's about to happen, that's for sure. You're muted, Alan.
When is the next panel starting?
2 hours.
Oh, in 2 hours. Okay, so we have time for everyone to go around. You want to do 1 or 2 more rounds? It's okay. So in this round, we're a team. What is the essential message you want to deliver from speaking from source or Arcturians or the divine or wherever you're located, Matthew? But what is the essential message that we need to know at this time? So should we start with the source itself, speaking from source? Go for it, guys.
Thank you so much. Well, the essential message that the guides are sharing with us is that there's absolutely no separation. We love to keep ourselves at arm's length about worrying about the future or setting a timeline in the future, setting expectations. Whereas, as you know, it's the perfect present. Absolutely everything happens in the now. And so your connection with your guides and your connection with your extraterrestrial brothers and sisters happens in the consciousness that you develop and expand into now. And it's no mistake that as we share a one mind and many people come to us for those personal channeling sessions, that it opens their consciousness up to the realm of possibilities that exists for them right now. So for each and every one of you, the time really is now. There is no separation between the things that you want and the things that you can have, and that includes your connection with the Starseed brothers and sisters. Tom?
So dear ones, that means very simply, what's happening for you right now? What are you loving? And how are you expressing that love? What are you afraid of? And what is causing fear for you? We have a tendency as humans to fear those things that we don't understand or that we don't know or that aren't familiar with to us. So recognizing consciousness, remember, is just awareness. So recognizing what is it that's happening for you right now, because you have the ability to change it at any second. You can change it right now by readjusting your frequency. You have that wonderful power to change your frequency at any moment by changing your thoughts. And so staying in the now is how we move to the next step, how we'll move to the future.
And that is the basis of transcendence. We are in a time of transcendence, and it starts with you, your ability to transcend all of the noise in the media or in politics, or even in your personal conditions that surround you, all of the drama that we like to watch on television, for example. Many people are finding that those energies are falling away and they can no longer deal with those type of energies as they move up in their vibration and their conscious awareness.
Isn't that good news? Because again, what that means is as we become telepathic, we recognize that there's no deceit.
Yes.
Right? Can't lie telepathically.
Yes.
And so we're moving from this period of deceit into this period of openness and honesty. So recognize what's happening for you now, because it's all steps in the pathway.
Great. I love that you can't lie You're absolutely right. I mean, why would you even want to? I mean, how could you? I mean, maybe there's a way, but we have to get, no, there's no way. Okay, that's fine. I'm not planning on lying telepathic, but but that's really good, because that purity of thought is the essence of who we are. And the more we get back to that purity of thought, the higher we vibrate. So Vivianne, when we were in Egypt and you sat in front of the Sphinx, you went into this state of channeling or connection that really brought through a frequency. I know it was really hard on you because you almost collapsed after, but could you give us a taste of these new frequencies that are coming into you and the message that may be part of that?
Thank you, Alan. That energy was already achieved. What we're stepping into now is to return into a more spiritual integration and unity consciousness. Whether it's the ancient archives on the planet, if you look at the Pleiadian portal through Uluru, or whether it's the Lyran archives in this, in Egypt, the Sphinx, in the Sphinx area, or whether it's Glastonbury or any other point on the planet, there is a distinct unity field that is being created right now. And that's because of overall humanity willingness to expand your consciousness, to return to your heart intelligence, to release yourself from the imprisonment or the enslavement to time. So if you look at this planet, this conscious being known as Terra, or the Earth, her intelligence, consciousness, Gaia herself, understand that she's shifting out of the phantom matrix, the old construct of linear time, and she's returning into a higher timing frequencies. So it means that it changes the dynamic of interconnection, conscious connections, how we project our thought forms or our thought feelings in the field, and to recognize that ultimately you're all interconnected at every moment, in every breath that you take. We're all interconnected within this intelligence field. And we have seen distinctively movement not only in the sentient field of this planet, but also in the sentient field of all the other planets that form this tiny branch within the Milky Way known as the solar system. And as we mentioned, there's a lot of realignment taking place. This is part of what the advanced intergalactic enlightened star civilizations are returned to do, like ourselves, the Octurians. We are coming back to helping to repositioning this planet within the multidimensional timeline into the higher timing frequency and the ripple effect of this. So this is beyond some archives on the planet like the Sphinx or the place, because they too are shifting. They're no longer in the same resonance field. But to really remember everything, or the essential today, is you need to set yourself free from the constant field of negative thoughts. Those negative thought forms, lots of those forms generates from the field and comes from other places. Not everything is yours to work out. Not everything is wounds and patterns for you to work out. It's about understanding that we are releasing humanity shadow memory field, and we are releasing ourselves to identify as wounded, separated, abandoned beings. You're no longer identifying to those old energies, but rather you're stepping into your true spiritual freedom. You're stepping into reclaiming your sovereignty as planetary leaders in your community. And every day you need to take ownership and to step into this huge opportunity that is given to you, because this time frame known as a lifetime, remember, it is a unique blueprint in time that will never repeat itself twice. So what are you going to achieve within this time frame or this lifetime that your soul have come to learn, embody, create, generate, and becoming one again? And this is what we're seeing. This is an ultimate spiritual initiation into the higher dimensional frequencies. You're returning to identify yourself as a infinite being of complete pure potential. And of course, the essential of the key elements, as we have all talked about, is ultimate self-love, ultimate self-acceptance, and self-worth. Those key masters unlock the doorways to everything. The universe is reopening to you. And so our role will continue to provide this very high level of teaching, coaching, practical integration to really supporting you, remembering that most essential truth of all: we all one with you, and we always have been. Now it's about to integrate and implement this living reality and to bring back this living knowledge. Step forward now as planetary leaders, as stewards, as guardians, and you'll see everything is available to you. It's just a matter of realigning yourself with your own reality. Are you accepting who you are? Are you loving who you are? Open the field. We are here. We always have been. And it's going to be much more. But for today, we feel this is the essential.
Wow. That's a real integration of you, Vivianne, and the messages and the beings. And thank you for that. I'd love to hear some more direct messages. Debbie, do you want to give a direct message from some star beings, if you feel like it? No pressure.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fine.
Please,
I don't know if I have messages from star beings, but I do have messages from the Akashic guides and I guess my personal guides. But I would say at this time, I do like what Neil said. He explained the whole ascension process in 2 minutes, which I think is freaking amazing. But I love what he said about as above, so below. And I think we are seeing that galactically with some of the astronomical alignments. We're seeing massive alignments that have not been in play for thousands and thousands of years. And one of those alignments that is coming to us is the shifting of our North Star. So our North Star used to be Lyra, or actually the Vega system in Lyra. It shifted to Thuban, which was part of the Draco system. So that was during the time of the dinosaurs. And currently it's in Polaris, which has been our North Star for quite a while. What we're seeing is a shift from Polaris back to Vega. And what that represents below here on Earth is that we are going to be seeing a shift from the old Orion, Anunnaki, maybe negative Syrian factions, templates that have been in play here on Earth for thousands and thousands of years, back to the original Vega Lyran templates. So we're going to be seeing new systems come into play here on planet Earth, systems that are more 5D oriented, where people be able to do work that they love, that there won't be a monetary system anymore, that we'll be living in what is we're going to be pretty close to a paradise planet. Earth is already a beautiful planet, but we're with the higher frequencies coming in, it'll become even more stepping into its beauty. And we're going to have this beautiful integration of extraterrestrial technology along with Earth human, this beautiful mix of genetics that we're all embodying here. And I'm actually looking forward to that. That's a big reason why I think a lot of us are here, is to bring this into reality. And so I guess my call to action for all of you is to imagine how you would like this earth to be. Imagine, something even beyond what is even capable. And I do believe together as a mass consciousness of this community that we'll be able to bring this to pass and finally become part of the greater galactic family. Thank you for allowing me to share that.
Wow. Thanks so much, Debbie.
Thank you.
So good. Diana, do you have something to add to that too?
Yeah, I just want to echo Debbie and Vivianne. As a Lyran Andromedan, I connect to those collectives really strongly. And just like Debbie just confirmed about Polaris moving to Vega, I have been receiving a lot that the templates is being recreated. So it's a new type of template, and we all collectively getting to choose that paradise template that Debbie talks about, the templates of Avalon, of Avian. So deep on a cellular level, on a DNA level, we carry those templates. So the grids, because that's part of major work that I've been doing in the last 2 decades or so, is to restabilize the grids. We're still working through the grids. You have to remember a lot of the grids got hijacked. So what we had back in Atlantis timeline to hold the consciousness, we can't use the same grids again. So what is happening right now is a lot of the starseeds that are getting reawakened, they go into Egypt or other places around the world. They're bringing their codes wherever they go. Everyone in their own way is weaving. That's what I've been shown on the blueprint level, weaving different layers of this new grid consciousness that we're creating on the planetary level. But we're not fully there yet. It might take, I know we're talking about 2030. I've been getting that as a big timeline shift, but it will take a little further than that to really step into the template that Debbie talks about, because we will really need to stabilize. But where we are going with the quantum technology, just like Neil has mentioned, I'm very involved in the quantum technology as well right now, on the medical front as well. It's exponential, and using the quantum technology will move out of the 3D where the energy is push and pull because it's finite, and we'll move into the quantum where it's infinite. And that's what's going to help us to create these grids and actually fuel this layer of consciousness that we need to uphold on Earth. Another point I wanted to bring in, because that's been coming really strong, is about these new children that are coming in. I've been having firsthand experience with my own niece, these new volunteers, because Debbie talked about the first wave of volunteers, the second, the third, but this new wave that's coming in right now, they are catching on this timeline we're in. Many of them actually making the choices to come in from angelic realms, Andromedan realms. And it is very dense here, but they are doing the work that is necessary for just elevation of that frequency, though. So they're going to be coming in with completely different blueprint. And I think from human design perspective, I know Ra, who created that system, has been talking like 2027 is that shift. So it's interesting to hear Bashar is also wearing that t-shirt. So we know the next generations that are coming in are very different, and their frequency bandwidth, their DNA codes are much more activated than others. And our role is to support them. So we need to create those educational systems and ways to allow them to do the work they're coming here to do. So I would say the final message on the personal level is just to stay in a stabilized state of being. So we're so used to doing and running around and just, this is the world of generators. And as I'm learning through this, is like the more we go into stillness and slowing down and just in being, and being is enough, is connecting us to remember that we are already quantum master creators. Like Vivianne said, we are already the spark of prime creator. Everything is available in the quantum field. We just ushering that in And what a beautiful way we're doing that. But will require patience, perseverance, and groundedness and anchoring of these timelines into the paradise planet that Debbie talked about. So thank you for everyone who's doing their work, because it's a personal and a collective job.
Well, thank you, Diana. That's great. I'm sort of looking also for, we've heard, yes, be present from source, speaking from source, and integrity, Vivianne, and what Diane and Debbie are saying. These are human qualities that, maybe we need to add before we can do algebra, which means like maybe we need those basic human qualities before we can get these ET essences. But is there something from the ET level, Guru Matthew John, that you can deliver to us, even if we don't know how to be the perfect human? I mean, just like on the leading edge here. Just is that something you feel comfortable with?
Yeah,
Yes?
absolutely. Thank you so much, Alan.
Yeah.
Something that the Syrians have discussed a lot with my students, and something that I've meditated on a lot recently, is the Orion karma is so crucial at this time. So many of us that are on the leading edge of ascension, I like to describe it as you go to the beach, you go to Coney Island, and you watch the waves, and that white part, that leading edge of the white cap, that's the leading edge of consciousness that are here on this panel and watching and commenting and consuming this type of material. We are those leaders on the leading edge. And so many of us as souls chose to have significant experiences in Orion's belt. And Orion's belt is so important because that is the source of the fundamental primordial wound in the Milky Way galaxy. And Neil, you talked about how Earth is the show, which I agree. I mentioned before about 3i Atlas being this reconnaissance ship from Andromeda, and it's checking in on all sorts of star systems and planets. But I do believe that Earth is either one of or the most important planet at this present moment, this present breath in the Milky Way's evolution, to being the key to the Milky Way's ascension herself. And you're right, it is the show. That's why so many beings have come from every part of the Milky Way galaxy, from every part of the Andromeda galaxy, from other galaxies, from literally other universes incarnated on Earth. We had these significant experiences in Orion's belt, and some of them were horrific. Some of the experiences were our planet literally being blown up from the inside out, like in Star Wars, Episode 5 with Princess Leia's planet being blown up. That was an allegory for exactly what happened in Orion's belt, or to our people being enslaved to this really dark manipulation technology that the reptilian beings that invaded Orion used to take innocent free will third, fourth dimensional beings and enslave them mentally, spiritually, and then physically. So we carry these wounds of being victims. And so many of us also chose on this planet to be part of the Lemurian and Atlantean experiences. Some of us chose to be at the end of Lemuria. I, as probably some of you have as well, have vivid memories of the end of Lemuria, of the massive waves coming in, the tsunamis coming in and just sinking everything. And some of us also had experiences in Atlantis on the other side, where we found ourselves, although we are light beings, being manipulated by the dark occult into using our gifts, our spiritual powers, to build weapons, to create manipulating technologies to enslave the masses, just like the Orion beings did to us. And a lot of us chose to have experiences on either side of that paradigm energetically. But what's happening right now, as this ascension is, Neil, as you mentioned, is really coming to a head, is it all has to bubble up to the surface, both planetarily and individually. So those of us that are on this leading edge, we're finding ourselves going through really rapid internal personal spiritual revolutions, and they're almost always super uncomfortable. Right? I'm sure a lot of us can recognize that we've been through a lot in these recent years, and it's all intended to shift us from that Orion victim consciousness, which it's not our fault. I mean, we were traumatized. All of us have been traumatized in this life, but more in other off-planet lifetimes if we had that Orion experience, as a lot of us did.
Right.
And that trauma is held as a collective field as well. We have things such as war and genocide and an economic system where you have a handful of people owning 99.9% of the world's resources, right? And it appears that if you're born in a ghetto in Philadelphia or Chicago or New York, you're screwed and your life is going to be in poverty, right? That's the program we've been operating on as a planet, and that really resonates with that victim programming that came from being literal victims in Orion's belt, and then a lot of us later here on planet Earth. So we're in a process of clearing that, and it's a solar plexus wound. Planet Earth has a massive solar plexus wound, and all of us are being asked to heal our solar plexus wounds within. So we are being asked to step into our part of me, to step into a new version of me, to even change my name to reflect that. I'm bringing back lifetimes I had in India and in Lemuria where I was called Guru. So I'm continuing that now in this incarnation. And that's a part of me stepping into my true, let's say, the highest vibrational solar plexus that I'm able to step into. And all of us are being asked to do that. And the more of us that do that, that allows us to shift as a planet from that Orion victim conscious to the Pleiadian, the Sirian, the Arcturian, the Lyran, the Yael, the Essassani, those higher vibrational frequencies. Orion's necessarily a low frequency. There are high vibrational planets there, but it allows us to step more into that galactic community, which allows us to be seen as a planet. It's like the metaphor is like we don't believe in ourselves as a planet because as individuals we don't believe in ourselves because we're afraid to step into our power. So it's like Earth is like shut off from the rest of the galaxy because it's like we're hiding. So it's about coming out of hiding and stepping into this galactic community. And as we do that, we are healing ourselves, we're healing the world, and we're healing the galaxy.
Yeah, I think when you mention the Orion Wars, I can feel that karma and the fear humans project about their world, what's going to happen because of the karmic Orion sort of implants that we still carry within our soul frequencies. But I think, and this is my speculation, where we're going to as fifth dimensional higher frequency beings, that karma, as it comes up, it kind of drops away. It kind of sheds our skin, and we need to embrace the new frequencies. We have to acknowledge the karma that has and the fears, but not indulge in it. Oh, there's that karmic feeling again, and you don't give it energy. You notice it. And so, it's that story, which wolf are you going to feed? The one that feared, the one that's hope. So as we rise up, the frequencies, as we shed it from our etheric soul essence, will be more palpable because it's our last chance to really complete that, to own it, to own those old karmic patterns, these old frequencies. And when you can own the experience, say, yes, that was our experience. Yes, we did that. Yes, that happened. And you own it on a soul level, you release it. It's release, face, embrace, or whatever cliche you want to put there. But that's the process I think we're going through now. And that's why panels like this are so important, as we actually feel ourselves breaking away from the old form and moving into a kind of energetic light essence that renews our cosmic conscious awareness. So thank you all for that revelation I just had here. But okay, Neil, Joan, go for it, Joan. Where are we at? How do we heal? How do we go forward? Well, we're doing it, Joan. Yes.
Oh my, so much brilliance here. So much brilliance. You know, the bottom line is this: you were born for this. We are here now as the leaders. We're here to embody the new human, the new godlike human, the new star being human, the new angelic human that we are, so that we can walk in this fifth dimensional and higher frequencies and help guide people to go into those places. And I love what someone, a few of you said, is like, okay, what do we really want? So what we really want, or I'm going to speak for what I kind of feel as a collective, is the ability to remember, to know who we are, to connect with our avatar selves. Listen, I sometimes connect with that star self of mine that is the commander of her own ship. All right. Each of you are probably commanders in your own right. This is the time to start to see yourself as the most powerful being that you really are, and not in this sort of depraved little human that we ended up being down here on the planet and had to fight to remember. So I ask right now that we start to synthesize and come back together again as that complete human, godlike human that we really are, so that we remember and that we embody it, so that our field radiates out, so that people actually wake up in our presence, because that is why we're here in many ways, to help wake up, to help remember, to help connect, and to embody that, and that's the kind of work I've been doing since since I was in my 20s. I started working with who am I? And we go deeper and deeper. And one of the things that I do, which makes it so exciting, is I do these soul portraits that show you that soul aspect that's unified. So let's all start to think of ourselves as that unified galactic being, the galactic celestial advanced humans that we are, and that we came in as our mission to embody. And I'm not talking just for the panelists, I'm talking for each and every one of you who is listening now or will listen in the future. You are who you've always known you are. Remove the veil, stop, walk away from that programming. And this panel has changed the field already for this true disclosure. And I thank you all for I just am so grateful to be here. Thank you.
I said, Neil, wrap it up for us, put it in a package that we can take home and munch on. Okay.
This is beautiful. So, there's been a lot of conversation here about Orion, our traumas, and us, and what has occurred through the cosmos, and even my analogy of us bringing this to Earth to really work it out. And I feel like that's the yardstick to measure how we can interact with the galactic communities, how we interact with each other. There's the Israeli space minister that I forget his name, I always forget it, but the one that said that we are being interacted with, the galactics are interacting with us, but we're not at the level yet that they want to have open contact, something around those lines. But I translate that into esoteric terminology. The conscious level of humanity is not at the level where we could accept us, star family, collectively. I did Orion is like a huge component of Portal to Ascension. Portal to Ascension is actually Orion technology, because I was a part of the Portal to Descension that existed in Orion. So the Portal to Ascension is actually the answer to that. And I did a 3-part series on YouTube. You guys can check it out if you're on the YouTube, called Scars of Orion. It was 4 hours each for 3 weeks, and we went deep into Orion. And so one thing we got to realize, though, the only way we get over this victim consciousness is realizing that we were also the perpetuators, and the amount of lives I've seen, very long, 5 million year story, very short. Okay. I came through the Portal to Descension from Orion, and I incarnated on Earth. I'd already been on Earth, but a fragment of myself was in Orion. I came down and I merged with my soul essence here. These are the memories that collected. And what I was doing on Earth was I was trying to hold accountable the darkness that had came and hijacked this cosmic egg technology from Orion that was used to terraform planets and that was used to terraform Earth and create the first victim consciousness, enslavement, reptilian brain evolution on this planet. When I came down, I started incarnating over and over, battles, wars, bringing down kings, bringing down empires. And then one day, I reincarnated as one of them. And when I reincarnated as one of them, I realized that I am also on the other side. I'm both of it, right? So it's like the stage that we manifested from it. So it's very interesting. How do you live this paradox? You hold those that have done what they've done to us accountable, but you hold it from a place of divine neutrality where you're not projecting your emotional triggers and traumas on the situation, you know? Because darkness, what is darkness? Darkness is a fragment of source that is so fragmented from the original source that it doesn't see itself in the light anymore. But the darkness came from the source. Light came from the source. When the singularity split into duality, light and darkness both came from it. But then the light is very similar to source because it exists in harmony. And the darkness continued to fractalize until we got into the lowest of dimensions. And in my opinion now, the darkness is this wounded little apparition child that's in the corner, fearing and quivering and doing everything it can to protect himself because it's scared of the light. And which is why people always say, like, you know, return to the light. Oh, the ghost, like Ghostbusters, right? Like creating a tunnel of light to show the spirit how to get back to source, you know? So it's like this world, all this stuff, as Guru Matthew John said, all this stuff is coming to the surface, right? That when the vibration increases, all the stuff that is stuck on the deepest level under the underworld, the atrocities, the disgusting stuff, the things that are crimes against humanity, all come out to the surface to be addressed. And some people think that, oh my God, we're not ascending because look at all this craziness. Look at P. Diddy, look at Epstein, look at all this stuff. But all this stuff has been existing for many, many years, many generations. You know, it can go back into the Roman times where I had lives as Rome doing these things myself and beyond that. And so what's going on right now is what I like to say is a collective spring cleaning. And another analogy, and I love analogies, what came to me is that we've been through a long, dark winter. But what comes after winter is the spring. But when you're in the spring, you need to do a spring cleaning. And that's what's going on. If we're ascending with our bodies, we're not going to be able to take our baggage into the next dimension. Just like you can't take your goods, your belongings with you when you die physically, we're like literally dying with our physical bodies still intact. And as we do that, we move to the next reality. But the things that we can take now aren't our golden trinkets. They're literally our traumas, our baggage. We can't exist in this new reality and vibration without it. And so much of it, I have so much deep traumas left on this world. So it's coming out in all types of crazy ways, right? So it's all about perspective. We have that perspective. We hold space for ourselves first, you know. This is a monologue for myself, by the way. I'm going through this stuff. So like, we hold space for ourselves and we hold space for the world so that we can really help each other move forward into this new reality. And
right.
Sense.
Thank you for mentioning new realities, Neil. But thank you. No, this has been a really informative panel. Should we go one more? What's our schedule here?
To go.
Well, okay. Does anybody have to leave? I know
well,
Vivianne,
we could just do a quick wrap up. Okay, what's your final comments, Joan? Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, remember who you are, everyone. You are here for this. Disclosure's happening inside of us. The rest of the planet will follow. And I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you so much. And if you need help understanding your soul blueprint, which I think many of you already know, but anchoring it in, let me know. But pleasure to be here. And I actually have to hop off. So see
you in an hour, Joan.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Vivianne, how about you? Do you have any final comments you'd like to share?
It's about returning to the love frequency that we all are. And the more we are releasing invisible barrier that is keeping trapped, especially from the mental perspective or unresolved wounded energy. It's to embrace every day, embrace the sacred breath of life in you. Imagine as you breathe in, opening the gateway of your lungs and in your heart center, you're letting the universe in. So breathe in, honor your breath of life. You're honoring yourself. You can honor all sentient life forms. And it's about understanding that you are living in a very symbiotic ecosystem of living intelligence to everything, the animal kingdom, the tree nations, the water, the resources, Gaia herself, you, the star nation, every star, every planet, every particle in the great multiverses. We all in that interconnection, the sentient breath of life that we share. So come back to your breath and honor your life. And we're here with you. This is why I am here in a hybrid human form, engineered to be here on the planet with you as an Arcturian ET being. And this is just the beginning. So trust. And we are thrilled to be with you.
Oh, Vivianne, we're thrilled that you are with us and we're with you. And looking forward to our next adventure
Indeed.
There. Okay, source itself. I just noticed there was a question in the chat about someone trying to heal themselves, not being able to be powerful if they can't heal themselves. Can you just address that? Because, I think that's a sincere
Sure. Well, you're not your circumstances. You have tremendous resources that you can call upon to assist you with your own healing. Always return to your divine I am and envision the world and yourself in which the way you wish to have it be. Having that visualization is key to seeing yourself whole and complete.
And part of that really has to do with understanding that all things are working for your greatest and highest good. Sometimes I think we set an ideal and we say it has to be this way. And the universe thinks quite differently, source thinks quite differently. And so one of the questions is to say, where's the greatest and highest good in this? What can I grab? What can I learn and what can I focus on? That's how we shift our thoughts, and that's how we change our vibration. And then it's amazing to see how that vibration changes everything.
And we sometimes don't realize it, but each and every one of our circumstances and each and every one of our connections that we have serve us and expand us. And so it's finding the gift in all of that and transcending any negativity or any doubt that you're not divinely loved and that you're not perfectly where you're supposed to be right here, right now.
I think that's what Joan means when she says, remember who you are, because you are a being that is designed for its greatest and highest good. Right. And so we can get ourselves into a separate mentality where instead we can just embrace our power.
Yes, and have compassion for your brothers and sisters. We're all ascending, all of the birds, the trees, the animals. We're all ascending through this process. And so, we're all connected.
Thank you. I mean, yes. And also we have a body, but who we are is the vehicle in the body. And of course you want to be the best you can be. And I think we have to just love this embodiment as much as we can. And that love helps to re-energize whatever condition you may have. What do you say, Guru Matthew? You with us? Unmute. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Alan, and thank you everyone for all of the wonderful messages. I'm really, really just so thrilled to be here with all of you, and such beautiful messages helping us all to remember our power and to remember who we truly are and to remember to be present as well. That's such a wonderful reminder that we all need to hear on a daily basis. And I really want to leave everyone with this thought. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to be anything to yourself or to anyone to be worthy. You are worthy by the nature of existence. Does a squirrel question its worthiness? Only us humans, because we have such an advanced mind and we think about everything all the time that we question our worthiness. We all are made from stardust. We all are made from the same material as all of the physical things on the planet, yet we have the gift of consciousness. So you are worthy already. And then you can expand that out to anything. You are worthy of what you want. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of existing in peace. And when you truly discover and set into that true worthiness, you create a life that reflects that. You create a life of peace and joy and good company and good experiences. And the more of us do that, the illusion is always barriers coming from the outside world, that there are limitations coming from the outside world that prevent us from doing what we want to do with our life or experiencing the life that us or our nervous system would like to experience. But the reality is that we are creators in every moment. We've come to Earth. Earth is a school to remember how to be a creator. We've intentionally pushed ourselves down the levels of consciousness and taken this massive amount of energy and stuffed it somehow into a small human body in order to then, after going through lots of trials and tribulations of experiencing all there is to experience as a human, remember that we are in fact creators and we're creating all of this. And on the macro, we're creating this planetary ascension. So that's why I mean, the future is uncertain because you're creating it as an individual. Be worthy first and watch everything fall into place after. And also, I just want to mention, if any of you are interested in
oops, I guess we weren't. I guess he'll come back to us. Deanna, oh wait, finish that message there. Oh, okay, Matthew, you were just cut off before you.
Am I back? Sorry.
You are back.
No, I was just going to say, I've led hundreds of people. Yeah, I was going to say, Alan, I've led hundreds of peoples over the years to actually travel to their home planets. I take them on a journey. So if you'd like a journey, go to my website. And thank you so much, Alan, for your kind words. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry about the lag in my mic.
It's okay. There's no lag on planet Earth. We're all catching up on whatever level we can. So thanks for being here. Okay, Diana, what about you?
No, I mean, in my microphone, it seems like it's lagging.
Okay.
So to clear the interference, right, Matthew, and to always, I think the interference is valid because it always kind of gives us a reflection and mirroring of are we in distortion or are we discerning the energy that's coming? I think it's really good point, like to constantly hold that distortion meter as we go on our journey of kind of what aligns with you, because ultimately, as everyone was talking, I was like, what would I talk about? And it brings me back to this concept in ancient Egypt. Many of us probably remember as Atlanteans is the concept of Ma'at, which is the cosmic law one. And it's the principle of divine balance and that governs all things. So this universe is all about harmonization. It always wants to come back to alignment. So wherever we are on these journeys, whether we are on the light side, on the dark side, ultimately we're all coming back to put the equation together. Because in the ancient Egypt, if the soul was passing, its heart was always weighted against the feather. So if your heart is lighter than the feather, and that's really our role, is to come back to the portal of the heart, like Vivianne was saying, and connect really to the essence of remembering who we are, then we're aligning our thoughts, our words, our action with that divine order to restore that harmony within us. And the other message was coming through really powerfully is remembering the feminine lineages of light. So there are this the masculine and feminine within us, we also bringing that together, because the divine feminine has been really suppressed for eons. And I think as it's rising and the divine masculine is coming together, we all carry those codes of queens, of priestesses, of builders of peace. And it's time for us to let the grace lead our path, to allow the light be what we really represent here on Earth, right? Very ancient, and yet we create in this new future timeline together. So we just weaving it all together, we reintegrate it into alignment. So just always remember, wherever you are on your journey, no matter how bad your day is, just like Vivianne said, take a deep breath, or slow yourself down, or ground yourself, and or open yourself to more gifts of remembering, like expressing light language. There's so many ways of finding your way to bring yourself back into alignment. And as in you in alignment, then all information is available for you. All the connections are there in the quantum field. And so there's not much to do. It's just to bring yourself to that original blueprint. And so I'm really honored to be here on this beautiful panel of remembering, of reconnection. And I can't wait for everyone to start remembering they're a part of this galactic, beautiful community.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you. Before I get to Debbie, I just want to acknowledge what I've been going through. Here we are, star seed messages. I was expecting some incredible scientific formula, some amazing activation. But the starseed message, what I got today, is to be human, is to honor the human. This is what the star seeds are trying to tell us, that this human essence is a star seed itself. We are growing from a seed into blossoming into being a star seed awareness adult. We are still seeds, but we're growing with our humanity. The ancient Chinese have a book called the Tao Te Ching. The Tao is the way, the De is integrity, the Te, the way of integrity to ourselves, to our community, to our planet. That is what I got here as the starseed message. How do we live with integrity on all levels to awaken the potential that this greater level of reality really holds for us? We have to grow ourselves up on this level if we're going to really embrace the unknown that is coming. So thank you all for everything you've shared. And Debbie, I know you have something else to add to this. So thank you also for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I'm just really honored to be part of this wonderful panel. I don't know if I can really add much more to all the beautiful words that everyone has shared, but I would say I do agree with Matthew John that you honestly don't. The thing that I get from a lot of starseeds and light workers is that they all feel like they got to be on this great mission and do all this great work and get deep into, changing humanity. And honestly, just being here, just, being a part of this ascension process. Each starseed has a energetic field that raises the vibration of a 50-mile radius around us, which is why we're so spread out on the planet. But basically just being here and just embracing your starseed heritage, your star connections, just in that in itself is going to make a great change on this planet. And thank you all for being here. Thanks.
Thank you, Debbie. Thanks for all your contributions wherever you speak and go, and bringing in awareness of these starseed races, these star races. Okay, Neil, do you want to wrap it up with a message, a poem?
That's a wrap. Yeah. So just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining for this panel today. Beautiful conversation. And when the intention to do this, have the conversation, but it's really to infuse the timeline with this consciousness, create inspiration for people, really help us reflect within. And it's just been said over and over. Disclosure starts from inside, and creating that inner peace, relaxing our nervous system, seeing and giving compassion to ourselves, having compassion for others, And so that's kind of the message that we have here. And there will be a day where we're going to be having open contact. I don't have a doubt in my mind. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this as a profession if I did have a doubt in my mind. You know, like I'm all in, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm all in on this. And the world is awaiting for us that works for everybody, not just a few people over here, not with income inequality, mass poverty, all of that. A world of abundance, peace, healthy food, elevated consciousness, community, you know, compassion and love. And that's the world that I want to live in, and it's the world we're creating together. So I just want to thank you all everybody on this panel for being here. We're going to have the next panel in a few. So I'm going to put everybody else in the green room. We're going to do a couple of announcements. So thank you all for being here, and we'll see you guys soon.
No closing wrap, Neil? No closing...
I'll do a closing wrap. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, do a closing wrap.
Let's do one about galactics. And so while I'm pulling that up, let me just say that we have the next panel in 50 minutes, okay? And we're going to have, Alan, are you going to be on it?
I think I realize I have a lot of stuff to do, so I'm not going to be able to make that. Sorry.
Did I lose you?
No, do you hear me?
Okay, so we'll have Shelley Reef, Debbie Dassinger, Geraldina Roscoe, and a couple of other surprise guests will be joining us as well. And let's do Atlantis, this poem Atlantis. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple announcements. I want to show you the New Living Expo one more time, and then we'll officially close out. Please come for the next panel if you're available. So let's all take a deep breath in together, integrated breath after all the downloads and messages today. Expand it out through the heart. So are we one yet? Going back to source. No remorse when we reinforce the course that we all endorse. Unconditional love. The highest vibration, a gift from above. Desolation of separation. We must be the ones to say this is enough. You see the third dimension? It was meant to be tough. There is no captivity, so unlock the cuffs. Move away from hate and lust. Our thoughts begin to shift the earth's crust. Just like in Atlantis. Stop causing damage and learn to manage self-realization. When people start to vanish, when we change our intentions, and we join the like-minded souls in the fifth dimension. You see? This is the beginning of our Oversoul's missions. What is it that you envision for the future incarnations? The Christ consciousness has arisen. Tear the perception of being in this prison, this industrial system. Slumber of opposites, duality where we get lost and forget how to circumvent and achieve liberation. The duality won't last for long at all. As we move to the aquatic age, break free from the third dimensional cage of limitations, Freemasons being misplaced in this illusionary reality. Governing authorities, there will be no more war. Co-creator, love ambassador, open the doors. Life isn't supposed to be a chore. No getting on your knees, worshiping entities from the floor. The message is simple. We don't need to know anymore. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones. So I'll take a deep inhale in. It's my favorite quote. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. No truer words have ever been spoken. Right? All right, so I'm gonna do a little screen share, everybody. We're going to show you here what's coming up at Portal to Ascension. You should be seeing my screen right now. So here's the website. I just want to show you what we have going on at Portal to Ascension over the next month or two. And then I want to do the New Expo one more time, show you the trailer again. Every panelist today, on today's talk, just right now, and on the one that's coming up in 45 minutes, will be at the expo. And what we have at Portal to Ascension now, if you go to upcoming events, this weekend, we have Truth, Life, and Times of Yeshua, because 'tis the season, guys, and during the season we always got to go festive. So we're going to infuse the timeline with a lot of Yeshua truth, connected to Mary Magdalene and the Essenes, Trisha McCannon, Jane Desiree Hurtak, Kira Winwriter, Dr. Melissa, Sophia Joy, myself, Marguerite Rigoloso, and Trisha McCannon. So it's an all-day celebration this weekend on Saturday. And then, the sixth annual, guys. I got to say, I'm pretty proud of myself for committing to this every single year on Christmas Eve, is my annual Pagan Origins of Christmas and New Year's Eve free presentation, broadcasting it in a similar way. Every year we add a little more information. We're going to be paying reverence to the truth of Santa Claus. We're going to go into Krampus, talk about the Amanita muscaria mushroom and the pagan rituals, and then the conversion into, Christianity, the hijacking of Christmas into Christianity on December 24th. Next year, on the 3rd, with Alan, we're doing the Real Disclosure Conference, which will be, talking about just infusing the real disclosure, what's going on, these not only from the reverse engineered craft, but the interactions with ETs, and also a hint of consciousness, of course. Following that, we have the Pleiadians and the Arcturians conference. Now, I've done an annual conference on the Pleiadians and an annual one on the Arcturians, but this year I decided to bring them together. As we are creating unity in consciousness, let's have the Pleiadians and Arcturians interact with each other. So we got Vivianne Chauvalt, of course, Arcturian ambassador, wouldn't be the same without her. We have Althea is going to be there, Debbie Solaris, Marguerite Glioso, who's representing the Pleiades, Judy is coming as well, Dr. Judy Weaver, Brooke Grove, also Pleiadian, Danielle Scranton, Arcturian. Sasha Starcy is going to give us an epic vocal and singing bowl outro for the event, and myself too. I would say I have huge connections to Arcturus. And then we have lots more. I'll just give you two more. We have the Truth of a Cosmic Lineage with Geraldine Orozco, and then the end of January is our 3rd annual Return of the Dragons conference, which is also great because Dragon connection is massive. Dragons also have a huge connection to Arcturus, so please check out some of those events if you feel compelled to. And we'd love to have you there. It's just the next couple months, we're going galactic, everybody. So let me go ahead and show you now the New Living Expo website one more time. So this is the event. This is the event of next year. The amount of love and intention that is going into this, the team meetings we had. Last week, we had like 3 team meetings, 3 days in a row, working 13 hours a day to put this together. It's really going to be quite an experience for everybody. It's a 23rd annual, but I just purchased it this year. And here's some of the speakers. We have some really amazing people. As I said, everybody on the panels today, Vivianne Chauvalt, JJ Brighton, Megan Solarglow, Lori Ladd will be there, Debbie Solaris, Laura Eisenhower, the David Palmer, the Leo King, Lily Nova, Kim Cash, Billy Carson, Jamie Price, who's an incredible channel, Mia Magic, Marilyn Glowacki, Geraldine Orozco, Sean Kelly, who has the 3rd largest podcast in the world on Apple, who I was on his podcast recently. He's going to be doing live podcasting there. We have the OG and pioneer of Western sound therapy, Stephen Halpern, will be with us as well. Cliff Dunning, who has interviewed the who's who in ancient civilization awareness, has Earth Ancients podcast, the Hurtaks, of course, Sasha Stone, and around 70, 80 more people. You can check it out at newlivingexpo.com. And you get, right now we have a special going on for the year. Buy 2 tickets and you get 1 free. So if you want to get it goes until January 4th. So if you want to attend, please go check it out. Here's the link, okay? And with that, everybody, let's play the trailer and then call it for today. And I'll see you. Who's coming here? Let me know if you're coming back in 40 minutes. It's on our YouTube channel. You'll also get an email in about a few minutes if you signed up for this with it as well. But we're going to be doing the next one today is on a post-disclosure, a post-galactic community world. So it's understanding our role in the galactic community. So not only what is our connection to that, like, what is our role now and beyond, but also what a post-disclosure world will look like and the systems that need to change in those moments. So see you guys there. Now let's close out with something beautiful. Let's do 3 deep breaths in together in about a moment, and we'll expand and emanate that frequency and through our hearts to the whole planet. I want you to envision when you're breathing out of your heart that your auric field is expanding out of your heart and encompassing the whole of the planet Earth, and all beings, all creatures, all systems, all institutions are within your heart. So I'll invite you now to go ahead and close your eyes. I don't know what the saying is, but something along the lines, when 2 or more gather, you must meditate. So like when we're together on this, then we can set a collective intention, we can really create some ripples in the field. So go ahead and close your eyes and breathe normally. And on your next exhale, begin with the first breath in through your nose. Deep inhale. Expanding it out through the heart as you exhale, encompassing the whole planet within the field of your heart. Deep inhale again through the nose. Expand it out through the heart. Deep, deep, deep inhale. Hold it at the top of the breath. Expand it out through the heart, encompassing the whole planet in your heart. And just sit there for a moment with an expanded heart, with an expanded aura, with all beings, all creatures, all people, all countries, all plant life, the entire planet existing within your heart. Now take 1 moment here and give your message to the planet and to all beings on it. Your intention, your message, your love, your empathy. Take a moment to have a conversation with Earth. May all beings feel peace. May all beings feel freedom. May all beings be happy. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Love and appreciate every single one of you. Check you out in about 40 minutes. So have a beautiful rest of the day, and we'll see you very soon. And I'll play this New Living Expo trailer as the outro. We have 2 trailers that are going on, and then we'll close. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
The world is changing faster than ever before, and within this evolution, a new consciousness is rising. At the New Living Expo, thousands gather to expand consciousness, explore new conscious technologies, ancient wisdom, and the future of human potential. Immerse yourself in 3 days of heart-expanding wisdom and mind-binding awareness, with over 90 speakers sharing tools to awaken your highest potential. 125 exhibitors, 3,000 attendees, awakened souls unite in one powerful weekend of learning, healing, and connection. Experience transformation, connection, and the next chapter of human evolution. It is time for humanity to awaken. Join us at newlivingexpo.com.